just happened to be in the neighborhood on a dark and stormy night.
So some people have extremely high standards when it comes to marriage. But I'm going to tell you a story where the bad guy's problem could have been solved 2,000 years earlier if he would have just moved to Ireland.
Chinese girls do not come with green eyes.
Here's Big Trouble in Little China.
You ready, Jack? Yeah, ready when you are.
So we meet Jack Burton, a truck driver based out of San Francisco. After dropping off a load in Chinatown, he spends all night gambling, but ends up winning a bunch.
We are in his debt.
But his friend Wang needs the money, so he makes one last bet with Jack that he can cut a bottle in half with a knife. And Jack takes him up on the bet, but Wang ends up shooting the bottle right at Jack's head.
Okay, I'm going home. Keep your money.
But Wang doesn't have the cash on him right now, and since he needs to pick somebody up from the airport, Jack offers to drive, since he thinks that Wang will stiff him on the bet.
That's what you do, right?
You remember what old Jack Burton always says at a time like that. The check is in the mail.
We then find out that they're picking up the girl that Wang wants to marry, Miao Yin, and he must really be in love, since he stayed up all night drinking, is gonna pick her up in the Pork Chop Express, and then is planning on going to work later.
Doesn't that make you feel good?
Sounds like love to me.
Oh, it gets better. He says that he moved here 5 years ago and worked really hard to earn enough money to bring her over too. And all he had to do was buy her a plane ticket for about $1,000. But now he owns a restaurant and has no issue paying Jack over $2,000 from a single wager.
I can't eat, sleep, or think properly without her anymore.
So while they're waiting for the plane to deboard, Jack hits on this woman, Gracie Law, who's also waiting to pick up a friend. But she sees that a Chinatown street gang called the Lords of Death are there too. Her friend gets grabbed, and Jack steps in, but they're really there for Miao Yin.
You take her, take the bitch.
Easy come, easy go, huh, Wang?
So Jack and Wang chase him to the parking lot, where they tell Gracie to call the cops, but she fucks off instead. They then almost get run over by the Lords of Death, who stuck Miao Yin in their rear deck because it probably has more room than the back seat. Not really an ideal kidnapping vehicle.
Comfortable?
But since Wang knows where they hang out, they head to Chinatown. Wang has Jack turn the semi down an alley, where they come across a funeral procession for a different gang, the Chang Sings. But then another gang, the Wing Kong, show up to kill him. And they make sure that the dead guy's dead by shooting up the coffin.
God, will you leave him alone?
But after both sides run out of bullets, because who doesn't bring a machine gun to a funeral, they start to fight with traditional Chinese weapons because they brought those too. And if they didn't, they just grab whatever's laying around.
Where'd you get that?
But they kill and beat the shit out of each other for a while, but then this dude with a big wicker hat pops out of some green shit, and everybody stops fighting. Then another big wicker hat dude floats down and is mad because he can't see out of his hat. Then another comes down on some lightning, but he kind of looks like a lamp with an electrical short.
Alright, wizard. Who are you? Why should I care?
So a couple of the Chang Sings start shooting at him, and they don't like it. So they do front flips to throw their knives. They then pull out more weapons. Thunder has some ceremonial axes, Lightning has some prayer wheels, and Rain has some butt scratchers.
Butt scratcher! Get your butt scratcher here!
Wang tells Jack to get out of there, and he tries to run him over, but they just get out of the way.
Butt scratcher.
But he does hit this old dude, Lo Pan, who's like, "Come at me, bro." But after Jack stupidly stops to see if he's okay, Lo Pan then blinds him with some lights coming out of his face.
Don't you want it?
They then run about 16 feet, where Wang gets Jack's vision to come back by splashing his eyes with a mud puddle.
Who doesn't love splashing around in shitty water?
They then run into the Lords of Death, making this the third gang they've run into in about a block and a half. So it's no wonder they have turf wars. But they turn again and end up right back where the three storms are killing the Chang Sings. So they get away and go back to Wang's restaurant, where after almost getting killed and knowing that there are Chinese demigods out there killing people, they barely bat an eye when somebody comes in.
Don't panic, it's only me, Gracie Law.
And what the hell is Gracie Law doing here?
She says that she knows where Miao Yin is, and that she's being sold to the White Tiger, but they might be able to buy her back if they get over there fast enough. So they dress Jack up like a used car salesman and send him over to pretend to get a prostitute. But he overplays his role and flat out asks for a girl with green eyes, so they immediately know he's a fake.
Well, that's an extra to these people. It's like leather bucket seats. It's double the price.
But that doesn't matter because the storms come in and take Miao Yin before Jack can get any information out of his hooker.
Because I can't concentrate when you do that.
They knew he was a spy and still let him in?
Well, they still wanted his money. Plus, they were holding her in a secret room, so he wouldn't have found anything.
Valiant effort, but you never stood a chance.
Except now that they let him inside, he knows that Lo Pan has her because Rain didn't kill him when he tried to fight him. So they all go back to Gracie's office, where they figure out where Lo Pan's keeping Miao Yin. Wang's hell-bent on getting her back right now, but Gracie's like, "Are you fucking insane? It's raining outside."
A wise man has enough sense of getting out of the rain.
She also thinks it's heavily guarded, but Wang and Jack don't give a shit. They just end up saying that they're here to fix the phones while holding a phone, and the guards are like, okay.
What do you need? A uniform, some dirty hands?
You don't have those?
They break into a restricted area and find a hidden elevator that stops on them and then floods.
We may be trapped.
They open the doors to find a bunch of upside down dead guys, and after yelling too loud, they're captured, and Rain tortures Jack with clown noses. Rain then changes clothes, and they take Jack and Wang to see Lopan. A little old dude in a wheelchair comes out, and Rain fucks off for the three guys in wheelchairs to talk. Turns out that they only saw Lopan's spirit earlier. The real him is old as fuck because he's cursed and needs a girl with green eyes to hold a naked blade to appease the god of the east, Xing Dai. But he sees that Gracie's in the lobby with her reporter friend Margot and Eddie, the host from Wang's restaurant. So Lopan fucks off to see what's up. Then Thunder meets him and takes him to the elevator where he gasses him and knocks him the fuck out.
You can't keep the press out, mister. This is America.
Jack and Wang are taken to a sealed room with a bunch of dead guys. Jack frees them both with his trusty boot knife. And after Wang catches Jack up on the mythology of Lopan, they pretend to be tied up when they hear Thunder bringing in Eddie. Jack jumps him, but he starts inflating himself, which throws Jack back into a wheelchair that rolls down the ramp, taking out the guards, but also into a well. But Jack catches himself at the last second.
It's all in the reflexes.
Then they fuck off.
Holy shit, we made it!
Lopan finds out that they escaped, so he grows his coke nail out and turns into his ghost form after becoming a light bulb. He goes to see Miao Yin, but is super upset that he can't touch her boobs.
Now, this really pisses me off to no end.
Jack, Wang, and Eddie take out a few guys after Wang establishes himself that he's a terrible lookout.
Go, it's clear.
Wang then pretends to take Eddie hostage as a distraction so Jack can sneak into where they're holding future prostitutes hostage.
I mean, I picked up girls from everywhere else, but never from China.
But they stupidly let the guards get too close, and they knock the guns out of their hands. And while they're fighting, Jack frees all the women, including Margot, who is allowed to keep her personal effects, and Gracie, who is hogtied for some reason.
This one has fire as well.
So Jack frees all the would-be hookers, just as Wang and Eddie beat up the guards. But Thunder and more guards show up, so they all fuck off in the elevator. Then somehow, all of the trafficked women know to jump in this pool and swim through a pipe to escape. So everyone else is like, okay, and just follows them.
Yeah, where's this going now?
Once they get in the sewer, Jack thinks this is the best time to have his first kiss with Gracie. But she's like, we're not dead, and you did save me from being a prostitute, so I'll let it slide.
She can't get enough of me.
Then Wang guesses that they're under the room where they first got in the elevator, so they go up, but discover they're trapped. Jack tells them all to hide because they only saw him, as the bad guys are making a giant hole in the door, being able to see everybody.
Ah, shit!
Then Wang kicks the shit out of all these guys in the time it takes Jack to pull the knife from his boot.
Ha! You don't trust me after all these years, Jack? That makes me sad.
They then lead the great hooker escape, but Gracie sees a door open and stupidly stops to investigate and gets grabbed by an orange monkey dude.
Where the hell that thing come from?
No clue. But it lives in the wall and takes her down to some temple under the building where he chains her up and fucks off.
Is this gonna get ugly now?
Well, everyone else gets away in Egg Shen's tour bus, but realize that she got left behind. But that's okay, because they didn't have Miao Yin either, so they have to go back anyway.
Nothing a double.
For backup, Egg called the Chang Sings. Then they go to his garage, and since time is of the essence, Egg changes into better clothes to fight in. But then his old ass can't open a shed door on his own. But this door hides a fire pole down to the sewer.
Why would you need a fire pole down to the sewer?
I don't know, just in case they needed to get down there real quick.
Why would you need to get to the sewer real quick?
Shut up, he just fucking has the thing, okay?
Because the world's full of crazy people.
So Lopan sees that Gracie also has green eyes and puts her in a trance.
You'll lose your little mind in my dead lights.
He wants to see if she can pass the test too. When both women pass, he decides to marry them both. And Egg explains that he has to not only marry, but sacrifice the girl with green eyes to Xing Dai. And they find out from Lopan via this eyeball monster that he plans on sacrificing Gracie, and Miao Yin's just going to be a present for his soon-to-be functional penis.
That's how it always begins. Very small.
He couldn't find one in 2,000 years, but found two in one night?
2,000 years and he can't find one broad to fit the bill? Come on, Dave, you must be doing something seriously wrong.
Are you crazy? Is that your problem?
And now that Lopan knows that all these people are there to stop his wedding, he hurries up to start it in this room that looks like a mix between an ancient temple and a mall food court.
I love what you've done with the place.
Egg pours some shots of this magic potion that's gonna make them
see things no one else can see. Do things no one else can do.
So they get down to the food court, where Lopan stabs Miao Yin and becomes a dude again. But then the eyeball guard sees him and alerts Lopan. so he orders the Wing Kong, who are there as wedding guests, to kill him. But Jack gets a little excited, fires his gun, and gets knocked the fuck out.
Real tough guy, yeah?
Everyone's fighting, so Lo Pan tries to complete the ceremony, but Miao Yin and Gracie are out of the trance and resisting.
Absolutely not.
Jack wakes up and has Lo Pan on his sights, but Thunder grabs his gun and punches it into 1,000 pieces. Egg blasts him away, but an armored guard attacks Jack, so he puts his knife between his feet and stabs him. But now he can't get him off him.
What the hell?
Meanwhile, Wang's fighting Rain, although it's more like seeing who can do more backflips and occasionally clashing swords. Although, Wang does eventually get the idea to stand still and just throw a sword at Rain, and he dies.
What, I'm supposed to buy this shit?
Lo Pan has Lightning take Miao Yin, so he can fight Egg, but they use magic to conjure warriors to fight for them that they control like video game characters. But when that's a draw, Lightning attacks Egg with lightning, but he reflects that back with a fan, and he gets shocked.
What were you the god of again?
But then he gets up and closes the door that Lo Pan and Thunder took Miao Yin through. And then he fucks off. But I guess he just shorted out the neon lights around the door because Wang just follows him. Then Jack almost stabs Gracie, and they plan on taking the elevator up to Lo Pan's office. But when it opens, the orange ape man's there, so Gracie kicks him in the nuts, and they push him aside and go make out in the elevator.
So beggars can't be choosers.
Luckily, the elevator leads right to Lo Pan, just as they're about to sacrifice Miao Yin. But then Wang flips in, and Thunder goes after him. So Jack takes the opportunity to throw his knife at Lo Pan, who's now mortal, but he misses by like a lot.
You're not a one-man army.
So Lo Pan, the evilest sorcerer in the world, goes over, picks up the knife, throws it at Jack, but he catches it, throws it back, and hits Lo Pan right in the forehead, and he dies.
Bullseye.
Alright, I never done that.
They then realize that Wang's still in trouble from the guy that really needs to hit stuff, but they end up running back into the room. Thunder then sees that Lo Pan's dead, and decides to inflate himself to the point he explodes, and he dies.
Hey, what more can a guy ask for?
Then they turn the corner to see Lightning, who allows them to get up to the next floor before shooting at them. And they see the Egg's on the next floor and get the women and Jack up, but Wang's trapped. So Egg drops a statue on Lightning, and he dies.
First time you ever plugged somebody?
Doing real good, guys.
So they get Wang and run around looking for an exit, but luckily come across Jack's truck. So they all pile in and drive off right as the cops are showing up. They celebrate at Wang's restaurant, where Egg sees that everyone's coupled up, so he fucks off so he won't be a seventh wheel. But Jack wants to leave too, even though Gracie is totally down to fuck.
I know, and I came to my senses.
And he drives off, only for us to find out that the orange ape man hitched a ride on the old Pork Chop Express.
You could be in a great deal of trouble.
So at least we know where we stand, huh?
Yeah, deep shit.
This is just so shocking. I mean, I must just be so monumentally naive.
Help me out here.
Don't be stupid.
I'm a reasonable guy, but I've just experienced some very unreasonable things.
I don't think I've had the pleasure.
What, I'm supposed to buy this shit?
No pathetic excuses.
What's it gonna hurt?
We really shook the pillars of heaven, didn't we, Wang?